this last video is so funny because it's during my screaming era. I don't know why. I thought that I had to scream to sound animated or happy or excited to grab people's attention, to the point where on TikTok people would comment and be like, why are you screaming? Hi guys, welcome back or to Palates and Perspectives. My name is Cheyenne, also known as Cheyennetheblogger, and I cover places to eat and things to do. And today I'm super excited to have lunch with you guys. So we have some sparkling water with a side of a small salad, just mozzarella, tomato, basil, and a nice drizzle of olive oil. And what we're gonna be talking about today, funny enough, is reactions to my first attempt or like my original content. When I first started filming content, like many of you know, or if you don't know, I started off doing cooking videos. So I thought it would be really fun to go down memory lane, rewatch the videos with each other, and just kind of like talk through it of things that I would change, definitely number one. But then number two, just kind of the commentary of like what my thoughts were during that time process, or during that time period, I should say, of me finding my journey and like going through this whole like becoming a food blogger thing. So I'm excited to watch along with you guys. And the first video is actually going to be my original cooking videos. So this is when I was in my cooking era where I was like making recipes online. So that's gonna be the first video that we kind of look at and like unpack together. Now, just to give you a little bit of background with my start of my food journey, I started going by Chic Chef because originally I wanted to do like fashion and food content. So the chic part was just about like doing like kind of fashion tidbits while cooking. And then the chef part was obviously because I was cooking online, but then that name actually got trademarked. So I had to switch to something else. And I'm like, what am I gonna call myself? What is gonna be my brand? So a lot of these videos, you're gonna hear me referring to my audience as like Chicers or myself as Chic Chef, because that was kind of like my little username and my handle when I first started. And then because it got trademarked, I'm like, how can I change my name? What's gonna be my new direction? And I'm like, how would I just go with my actual name, because that's my name. So that's how we came along with Cheyennetheblogger, because I switched from doing recipes to kind of covering more content on things to do, places to eat, and experiences. Hey Chicers, so today I get to wear my apron because I am cooking my shrimp rasa pasta for my power party. And what I'm gonna actually do is I'm gonna start the process from already washing and deveining my shrimp, cleaning it, and I'm gonna show you guys how I season the jerk shrimp before I sear it and get into the whole rasa pasta fun. So we're gonna start right now by seasoning our shrimp. Okay, so here's my thoughts on that video. So my thoughts on that video is that, one, I was talking way too fast. But I was almost in this space of like, I only have 60 seconds. I have to try to get my thought out. So I would talk so fast during my videos because I thought I was gonna run out of time. The second thing is the fact that like, I wish I had included some type of like text or visuals in the video, just because I feel like it would have been more appealing, because I start to say and like fillers a lot. So in all of those fillers, you kind of start to lose the audience and people either scroll or they swipe and they move on to the next thing. So that's what I would definitely change. But during that cooking era, I was just so excited. You could just see the excitement on my face because I was so excited to just be filming in this new recipe, and I hope people love it and people are gonna try it. And it's just adorable to see. So now we're gonna move on to video number 2, where we kind of start to exit out of the cooking phase and we start to cover places to eat and things to do.
Okay, so
this is actually my first ever food review, and my dad was
I have to say as well, but it is basically ground beef with tomato sauce and penne. So let's see what it tastes like.
The music in the background is so loud. It's like louder than me, and I didn't have a mic at that time, so that's something I would definitely change, is making sure to have a mic, because the music in the background is
so what I love is the sauce and the meat combine really well together. So every time you pick up a little bit of sauce, you get a little bit of that meat, which is so good. And then now we're gonna try, this is the pesto gnocchi. So this is actually not really a pasta, it's made with potato. So this is my first time. Okay,
that's Cheyenne should be.
It is so soft. like melting in your mouth. So I think that's kind of like a little bit of a pasta vibe to it. And
that video literally makes me want to hug that girl because she doesn't even know the journey that she's starting. And it's just beautiful because you can see how like innocent it all was to me at that time period. I wasn't really that shy because you don't have those comments yet coming in on TikTok and like criticizing the way that you're describing it and all those things. So you're not like overthinking the content. You're literally just filming. And that's what I love about this video is the innocence behind it. It's like, I'm just filming. I'm with my dad. I'm talking about the flavors and I'm honestly just being who I am in the video. So I really love that about it. But the one thing that I would say is definitely making sure that I had a mic. That I should have changed now that I know better. But then also too, it's just kind of, I want to get back to that girl a little bit where she's not overthinking the content that she's making. She's just having fun. She's enjoying the meal. She's talking about it without worrying about if she's stepping on anyone's toes, if she's pronouncing something wrong, if she's not being descriptive enough. Like I want to go back to just that sort of like very in the moment tasting and what my initial thoughts are on the food. Now, this third video was when I was in my travel girl era. So now we've left the cooking era. We entered into the restaurant review era. And now this is the things to do, like travel sort of content that I started developing. And this was actually my graduation trip from college. I went to Europe. It was like my Europe escapade trip with my parents and my sister. It was such a cute trip. So we're in Paris in this video and we're pretty much just exploring. And I was like, oh, tell my sister, literally just pull out your phone, start recording, and I'm just gonna talk about it. I'm just gonna talk about what we're gonna do and just bring them along with me. Now, in this video, you'll literally see the dynamic between my sister and I because she just kind of goes with what I'm doing, but I'm the one that always takes everything so serious. So it's just kind of funny because I'm like babbling away and she's barely talking. So let's watch.
Hey guys, so we are currently about to do a perfume class where we're gonna make perfume in Paris. I know this is not really about food, but I also think it's kind of dope because I wanted you guys to see different things that you can do in Paris. So if you choose to come and travel to Paris, you kind of have a little itinerary to go with. Yesterday, we didn't do much because we actually got in yesterday, so I didn't really record just because it was just mainly about trying to get settled in the hotel. We did see the Eiffel Tower, but I didn't have service either. But I want you guys to see the perfume class, so we are gonna record that. And you guys are just gonna kind of do a day in Paris with us and just kind of look up the good, learn about like good eats. We're gonna talk about the drinks and stuff like that. And then we also have a wine tasting, but we're gonna do that tomorrow. So I'm excited to share that.
Oh my gosh, that video is so adorable just because, again, the innocence. I had no plan. I literally told my sister, just throw the phone out, let's start recording, let's walk around Paris, let's just film. It was raining also while we were filming that. So it's just kind of funny because me talking about, I'm gonna show you what we're gonna drink, I'm gonna show you us picking perfume and all of these different things. It's like, I really had no plan, but that was just honestly what we were about to do. So that's why I was naming all of those things. But again, I just felt like it was just so authentic, obviously, because there's no thoughts behind it. You're just filming. You're literally just filming. So that's what I love about this whole content. You can tell I'm not thinking about things too much. But then it's just funny to see because I'm like oversharing. I'm literally explaining every detail as if you're gonna be there and you didn't know why I wasn't filming at first. And like, you don't know the timelines, but just me, myself, just being myself, I feel the need to explain everything. So it's just funny to watch. Now, this fourth one is actually a picture. Now, the best one is last. We're gonna leave my last video. That was kind of, in my opinion, like one of my worst eras, kind of, just because that era was like me trying so hard that like I was just doing things that were just definitely didn't need to do. But before we get to that era, we are gonna talk about my photo era. This is hilarious. I'm gonna use this one photo because I just feel like it's a great picture of it all. So let's get to it. In my head, I would honestly call this like my YouTube thumbnail era. Mind you, I was not posting on YouTube, but I feel like that was just the inspo. It was just one of those things where you honestly are just like you're posting and creating content with inspiration of the things around you. So you see these thumbnails of like all your favorite YouTubers and they're like shocked or pranked, or it's just one of those things where it's like always something so dramatic. So I felt like if I want to be in this world with you guys, I have to be dramatic. It has to be something kind of crazy. It's funny because I made sure I redid this picture like 3 times. That's the funny part about it. And I'm in public. I'm in a restaurant. I was actually in Amsterdam when I took that picture. And I was with my parents and my sisters during my Europe graduation trip from college. And I took it, I'm like, it's not dramatic enough. It's not dramatic enough. Like, I need to do it again. I need to be more shocked. And it's like, what are you shocked about exactly? Because it's just pancakes. I don't understand why you would ever need to be more shocked about pancakes. But in my head, it was like, I have to put text over this and talk about Amsterdam Dutch pancakes. So that's why this picture is like so dramatic. But I thought it was so funny because that was literally the way that I thought during that time period. I'm like, in order to make this entertaining, in order to make people want to gravitate towards the content, it has to be like those YouTube thumbnails, something outrageous, something crazy. So here we are with my eyes almost popping out of my head and trying to emphasize these Dutch pancakes, which people that have been to Amsterdam will probably be like, girl, it was never that serious. But I love it again because it's so authentic, it's so real, and it just shows the growth, honestly, because you just don't know like where you start. And when you start to learn yourself and who you are, and you start to kind of adapt to not what you think you should, the way that you should show up, but just showing up as yourself, it gets a little bit easier, and your audience can tell like when you're actually like, oh, that's her, and when it's like you're trying to grab their attention, you know? This last video is so funny because it's during my screaming era. I don't know why. I thought that I had to scream to sound animated or happy or excited to grab people's attention, to the point where on TikTok people would comment and be like, why are you screaming? And my entire family, and honestly, that's why you gotta love your family sometimes, because they will literally give it to you like you need it. And they used to say like, Cheyenne, but why are you screaming at your audience? Why do you need to scream? And that was my thing. I felt like in order to sound like animated or excited, I needed to scream. So I was in this whole screaming phase where every time I started the video, I had to like scream a little bit. So this is my screaming phase. And funny enough, this is actually when I really started gaining like an audience and a following on TikTok, because I started gaining an audience on TikTok before like any other platform. So I was gaining an audience on TikTok, and even the people in the comments was like, here goes a screaming girl. Like, that was a thing for me. And I don't know, maybe that was my way in, I don't know, but this is just funny to watch. So let's just watch.
Hey guys, today we're checking out Miami. It is located in, you guessed it, Miami, Florida. So if you think that the interior design is about to blow you away, stick with me until the end. I promise it's worth it. Now, we decided to go ahead and order some cocktails. This is the berry mojito, refreshing. The traditional mojito was great as well. And then they had a black warrior, which is like a margarita. Then we had decided for our appetizer, guacalote. It was guacamole and elotes in one with these large chips. For my entree, I got the ahi tuna tacos, shrimp tacos, which were the wonton tacos, 5 tacos, you get to choose. Then I got the churros for dessert. But okay, here I have to pause it real quick because that video, I felt like what I would have done differently is definitely cut the clips. I'm talking way too long about the same dish, and you're losing your audience attention, which funny enough, this video did really well on TikTok, like really well on TikTok. But it's funny just because it's like, now looking at the content, I would like give someone else advice and be like, okay, cut this clip. It's a little too long. You're losing your audience because you're going over the same thing. You're saying like too much about the same dish, and you're kind of losing their focus. So that was something that I would definitely change. And then I would also too give better visuals, like picking up the guacamole, letting people see the layers, see the colors, the flavors. That's something that I didn't really learn until later on in my journey, was like really putting emphasis on the food, doing a cheese pull. Like those visuals as a foodie is what captivates people. And I didn't know that at this time when I was doing my screaming era. So it was just a lot of just talking. And I would definitely scale back on the talking, more visuals, shorter clips for sure. So let's keep watching.
You may have entered a restaurant, but you are going to leave a rave. After 10 p.m., they put on an entire show for you. It is mind-blowing. I'm telling you, you have to check them out.
The enunciation for me is like so funny because I wanted to put an emphasis on how mind-blowing it was. And again, I love how I was really just being myself and explaining it, because that is honestly how I would have explained it to a best friend, a family member, like any person. I would have explained it like that even in person. So I do love that about myself and where I was during that time period. But I would also say too that I would have included that last clip probably earlier on to give people a reason to keep watching, because now you drag them all the way with this guacamole and this dips and all of these different foods and drinks and stuff like that they've already swiped, that they missed the whole best part of it. So I probably would have included that last part about the rave and the party a little earlier in the content, so that way it gave people a reason to see, well, what was that in the beginning? So they kept watching till the end. But those are tricks that I didn't learn until later on, but I'm sharing it with you guys now. So if you're interested in being in this industry, that's something that you should definitely do to get further along quicker. Of course, I absolutely enjoy having you guys for breakfast, lunch, brunch, dinner. And the one thing that I do want to say before we close out this video is, again, like I always say, where you start is not gonna be where you end up. Definitely document your journey. Definitely give yourself grace. Have fun while you're doing it. Create more content that really makes you feel good. And try your hardest to not compare someone else chapter 6 to your chapter 1, because again, you're gonna learn things about yourself and your style in content along your journey. So, you know, like I said, I'm going back and I'm looking at this content now, and it's almost like two completely different people, except for talking about ambiance and things like that. Like, I definitely still do that, but it's almost as if these are totally two different people. And this is in a span of about 5 years. So I did start a while ago. I was not consistent because of work and things like that, but I started, you know, that girl, she's in her early 20s. And, you know, she's trying to navigate putting herself out there, facing her fears, while also with a limited budget and trying to get into a field where she can showcase restaurants and things to do. So there's so many different factors that are coming into play. And that's why I say give yourself grace, because as you keep evolving and you get further in your career, certain things become easier, which allows you to become a better version of yourself. And ultimately just, you know, become who you're supposed to be. So give yourself grace, keep going, document your journey, laugh at your mistakes. Don't take yourself too serious, because you will adapt, you will change, you will evolve. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, comment down below what your favorite part was. If there's anything that you took away from this video, I would love to know. And of course, cheers to a great experience and follow for more reviews.